Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video here on my YouTube channel, and this video is going to be an important one, not something that's talked about often on YouTube. It's going to be about competitive spirit, right? How can we sort of get a competitive spirit and instill that within ourselves to have in Fortnite? Because I think that's something that a lot of intermediate players are struggling with, or they don't even realize that they lack it. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that we absolutely have to talk about is how do we define competitiveness or competitive spirit, because we need to lay out the landwork, right? We need to sort of lay out the definitions, if you will. So I took this off Google, right? Competitiveness is having a strong desire to win or to be the best at something. And I think I read that off Google. I'm just like, okay, this is literally exactly what it is. It's perfect. It's not a mistranslation or anything. This is the best definition I can find. We're pretty good, right? So a lot of people that are watching this video don't have to be confused if you are confused about that, right? It's very important to be competitive in Fortnite. Why is it important to do that? I don't think you can succeed in any sport or anything where you're sort of directly competing with someone else if you're not competitive in nature. Okay, I don't think you will succeed. Why? Because you will not feel bad. You will not feel that sort of revenge factor after you lose a solo cash crop or do poorly in a solo tournament or a duo tournament or any tournament for that fact. It's very important to feel bad, and I know it sounds backwards because I'm just like, oh, keep your hopes up, you know, like gotta do good, like be positive. Like, it is a positive thing to understand that what you've done in that solo tournament, in that solo cash crop, in any of these tournaments is not enough. You understand? It's very important to sort of realize that it is a positive thing. As long as you don't beat yourself up to the point where it's like your self-esteem is ruined. That's not what I'm telling you to do. You just need to understand that what you're doing is not enough. You need to put in more work. You need to change what you're doing week to week if it's not working. Understand that, yes, you know, I understand that, like, you should sort of give it time. You shouldn't sort of rush it and sort of keep changing things every week. You know, you're not going to improve in a week significantly, by all means. You know, this goes into a whole nother topic of like how I think you should be taking off season very seriously. It's a very good time where there's like very little tournaments. You can be totally working on your fighting, your mechanics, but that's a whole different video. We won't go into that rabbit hole. But in general, it's very important to sort of have almost like a slight ego. Like, it's almost like a controversial statement. I don't think so. I really don't think so. There was a time when Benji was very innocent and Benji didn't really have that sort of character trait. And then he played with Mongrel, and I think something clicked. I think he realized that Mongrel's attitude was way better for competition. And if you sort of compare Benji today, he is more like Mongrel than he was his old self, right? It's almost like Mongrel rubbed off of him in that MMB era, if you remember MMB, when he played with Micho as well. So it's very important to understand, like, I mean, that's a good example that we can sort of point to, but it's important to understand that you need to be competitive. You need to be, I want to beat the other guys. I don't want them to sort of get one up over me. You understand? And I felt like that was me, right? I felt like that's something that I had personally. For example, back in high school, I was very much a bookworm, a nerd, someone who was academic, right? And I cared about grades. That was sort of instilled into me by my parents, who have a very Indian, you know, Eastern Asian culture. And obviously in that part of the world, grades are very important. So that's something that they instilled into me. Back in the day, my mom made me work like, I think it was like 10 math pages of the workbook, right? Like, do 10 math pages of problems for 1 hour of gaming. And obviously I loved gaming. I wanted to play video games, and it was like really, really fun. So I would do that. It was like a currency exchange. It was like a transaction. That's how I got really good at math. And now comes in the examples of competitiveness from my younger self. First example, I was very good at math. Math was my best subject, right? Obviously I competed with like other students, my peers. I wanted to get the better grade than them. There was sometimes where we like took it very seriously. I would make, like, you know, very casual but not really casual in my mind, bets with other people in like math class and other classes to try to get the better grade. And like, this was a very real thing. Like, I was competing with them, and I didn't realize at the time that it was like a competitive thing, but it was just like naturally something that I wanted to do. Obviously I sort of like leaned towards the thing that I was already good at, so it's very easy to win. So there's that as well. But in general, grades was something competitive. There's also the fact that I played chess in high school. I was 2 times chess champion in high school, but I did lose a couple of times, a couple semesters where someone took the trophy over me. And even though it wasn't as serious as someone else might find, chess was a serious thing for me. There was very casual matches that turned very, very serious for me, and I needed to beat those people. You understand? So I had that sort of competitive nature built into me through experience, through these events that sort of happened to me. And you know, there's another example of me like going into math competitions and spelling bees and all these like nerdy things, but like actually had a competitive nature to them. So this contributes very directly, this is why I'm telling you this, very directly to my Fortnite career. This sort of, I can tell like right away, it contributes to the fact that I was able to make money on Fortnite. I was able to get to a top 200, you know, ranking in my region, 42k PR peak, like somewhere around that. I don't exactly remember, but either way, this is why I was able to do this. I had a sort of competitiveness in me. Now, how can we apply this to the viewer? How can I apply this to you? What examples in your life do you have that sort of bring that competitive nature? Try to think back, right? Because if you sort of relate Fortnite to that and sort of think about it in that fashion, instead of, oh, there's a cash cup here, I'm gonna try, there's a cash cup here, I'm gonna try, and then after you lose, yes, you feel bad, but do you feel so bad that you actually change, right? How much pressure is there actually on you when you lose? Get it to a point where you actually do want to change, right? You need to make this very serious, right? You need to make it like a job. If you are trying to be a pro player in Fortnite, it's gonna become a full-time job for you. If that is something that you really, if you genuinely, okay, so first of all, there are a lot of people who say they want to be a pro player, but then they don't actually put in anywhere close to the corresponding action. So all those people, I don't believe. But hopefully that's not you. You know, hopefully you do take it seriously. Hopefully you are serious about it. But make sure that you're not one of those people that I don't believe. You understand? Make sure you prove it to me with the actions that you do day to day, with the actions that you put in week to week. How much work are you putting in? How much do you actually care about improving? Are you just playing scrims to scrim, or are you actually playing scrims to improve? Right? Now, a lot of people who sort of say they want to be a pro player and then sort of fake it, they don't have a competitive nature. They really don't. Right? I can tell. It's very obvious. Very surface level, I can tell right away. Right? And it's very important for me that you guys succeed, because then I can sort of say that I like this YouTube channel had impact, right? So make sure you actually take this seriously from the get-go. And if you have a competitive nature, which is the whole lesson of this video, it'll become very easy, because after you lose, you will want to take revenge on everyone else who beat you, and then you want to be better than them the next week and onwards. It's very important to understand that if you want to be a pro player, doing really bad each week without slight changes or iterations or practice to adjust your play towards the more correct play that can get you into round 2 is what you need to be doing. Like, that's absolutely what you need to be doing. This will absolutely turn into a ramble, but you guys get the message. If you guys have any questions in the comments, please let me know. But otherwise, take this seriously, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.